Institutional interest in Bitcoin is on the rise. One Japanese company is taking inspiration from Microstrategy. And crypto policy controversy on Capitol Hill? These stories and more on this week's Bitcoin News Update. Hi, I'm Nate Martin with this week's Bitcoin News Update. Major global banks are now embracing Bitcoin ETFs, signaling a shift towards digital assets and traditional finance. Canada's Bank of Montreal and Swiss banking giant UBS lead this trend, both disclosing significant Bitcoin ETF holdings. Bank of Montreal controls over $1 trillion in exposure across various ETFs, while UBS, despite previous skepticism, has invested in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust. Other banks like BNP Paribas have also entered the Bitcoin ETF market. Growing institutional adoption marks a broader acceptance of digital assets, promising increased liquidity and mainstream acceptance for Bitcoin. The state of Wisconsin purchased more than 94,000 shares of BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust worth nearly $100 million in the first quarter, making Wisconsin the first state to disclose a Bitcoin investment. The state also bought shares of Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust worth about $64 million. The move highlights growing institutional interest in Bitcoin, prompting Bloomberg ETF analyst Eric Balchunas to write in a post on X, quote, "Good sign. Expect more as institutions tend to move in herds." Wisconsin's investment board manages over $156 billion in assets. Michael Saylor's Microstrategy, renowned for its substantial Bitcoin holdings, has been added to the prestigious MSCI World Stock Index, a key benchmark for global equity markets. This milestone follows a 120% surge in Microstrategy's stock price since February, outpacing even Bitcoin's appreciation. The company is the largest corporate Bitcoin holder with over 214,000 BTC valued at $13.5 billion. Despite some concerns about overvaluation, MicroStrategy's inclusion in the MSCI Index signifies growing acceptance of Bitcoin in mainstream investment portfolios. Tokyo-listed company Metaplanet has adopted a Bitcoin-first strategy aiming to leverage Bitcoin as a reserve asset in light of Japan's economic downturn and yen devaluation. The company plans to accumulate Bitcoin instead of holding the weakening yen. Metaplanet, inspired by MicroStrategy, seeks to become a Bitcoin proxy for investors. Since April, it has added 1.25 billion yen, or just shy of $8 million worth of Bitcoin to its reserves, now holding 117.72 BTC. In a document shared on social media, Metaplanet defended its position, saying the shift, quote, "not only fortifies the company's balance sheet against the perpetual debasement of the yen, but also positions Metaplanet as a Bitcoin-focused investment vehicle globally." Vanguard has appointed former BlackRock executive Salim Ramji, known for his Bitcoin-friendly stance, as its new CEO. Ramji's role in launching BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF has sparked speculation about potential changes to Vanguard's anti-Bitcoin stance. Bloomberg analyst James Seifert and Eric Balchunas suggest Ramji might not launch a Vanguard Bitcoin ETF, but could allow clients to buy spot Bitcoin ETFs on its platform. The move surprised many in the industry as it marks the first time Vanguard has hired an outsider as CEO. In a display of bipartisan unity, two senators have called upon the Justice Department to reconsider its recent crackdown on yet another popular Bitcoin privacy service. Senators Cynthia Lummis and Ron Wyden have urged the Department of Justice to revise its definition of unlicensed money services business, or MSB, following the arrest of Bitcoin mixer Samurai Wallet's founders. The senators emphasize that the definition of money transmission in the Bank Secrecy Act requires that a transmitter control the transmitted funds, but the DOJ maintains that money transmission doesn't require such direct control. Lummis and Wyden warned that this interpretation could not only undermine trust and legal protections for digital asset developers, but could inadvertently lead to the classification of such entities as internet service providers or even postal carriers as MSBs. In other policy news, the U.S. Senate voted 60-38 to repeal the SEC's controversial Staff Accounting Bulletin number 121, which was issued in 2022, requiring companies holding customers' cryptocurrencies to record them on their balance sheets, a rule that could significantly impact capital requirements for banks. Despite bipartisan support, with 12 Democrats, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer joining with 48 Republicans, the resolution lacks the veto-proof majority it needs to override the veto that President Biden promises once it crosses his desk. Proponents of the repeal argued that SAB 121 stifles financial innovation and was improperly implemented without following the formal rulemaking process. But Biden maintains that repealing SAB 121 would undermine investor protections. That's it for this week's Bitcoin News Update. If you'd like to support what we do here at the Bitcoin Effect, maybe you'd like to buy me a coffee. Just scan this QR code or click the link in the description to help support the channel. We really appreciate it. And to help us reach more people here on YouTube, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you'll know as soon as we post a new video. See you next week.